Okay. Good evening, everybody. I believe you can all hear me. Good
Yeah, good
evening.
evening. Good evening. You can hear
Hi.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Good evening, Bello Umar. Good evening, Ikwasa Amos. Good evening, Engineer Van. I can see my noble colleague. I have an estate valuer here. Omotoke. Hi. Good evening. Good evening. Abayemi is still trying to come in. Or if Abayemi is here, okay. Good evening, Abayemi. Hi, good evening, Omotoke. Good evening. I can see we are 14 here in the room, but I don't think I'm seeing everybody. Okay, see all. I can see Francis. Hi, Francis. Hi, Joel. Good evening, Temita Day.
Good evening. Good evening. Hi.
Yes. Hi. Hi, good evening. Good evening, Wisdom. Good evening, Samson. Yeah, hi. Good evening, Kenny. Okay, good evening, all. You're all welcome to this our September not sharing series. I'm really glad that we can make our time to be here. That means we are very, very enthusiastic to know more about how we can forge ahead in this facilities management profession. So thank you everybody for being here. And then good evening to the person that is going to do this training, person that is going to be facilitating and getting us equipped with this knowledge, Oluwafemi Odugbesan. Good evening. Oluwafemi was actually the first person that came into this room. Thank you, Mr. Oluwafemi. And then thank you, like the topic said, how we can make informed decision using data. We all know what data means. But some of us, especially those of us that are still new in this profession, you might be finding it difficult to know what to track and what to do. We all know that decision making, especially when it has to do with costs, safety, efficiency, and then meeting your customers' expectation, you need to get some metrics down. You need to really get some figures down. You really need to track some things. But many people or majority of us do not know what to track or what to pick as we are carrying on in this our profession. The person that is going to take us on this training is Mr. Femi Odugbesan. Let me give us a brief intro about who Mr. Femi is. Oluwafemi Odugbesan is a data analyst. In fact, he counts numbers. He can analyze everything. He's a technology professional, an educator dedicated to bridging the gap between data, technology, and practical business application. With a bachelor's degree in mathematics and an ongoing postgraduate studies in information technology, he possesses a unique blend of analytical rigor and technical proficiency. Beyond data, Oluwafemi is an experienced project manager who has led and delivered several impactful projects. He's going to tell us about them in this session. His journey into project execution exposed him to the world of facilities management, which has since sparked his deep interest in technology potentials to revolutionize facility management across Nigeria and Africa. This hands-on experience fuels his passion for training and mentorship. He has successfully guided numerous professionals in mastering essential technologies, from Microsoft Office Suite to advanced data analytics techniques. Okay. Outside of work, Femi enjoys listening to music, skating, and horseback riding. So, Oluwafemi Odugbesan, we are very, 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 very glad to have you here in this session. And we want to thank Mr. Chinedu for bringing you. I don't know how he was able to get you here. Honestly, I don't know. But thank you for being here. And we are ready, very, very ready with our writing materials. If you don't have your writing materials, please grab one, get your jotter, get your pen, get anything you want, even if you want to record, just get everything ready. And then let me also tell us that this session is going to be recorded. In case if you miss anything, you can go to our YouTube channel and get everything that you've missed. But most importantly, pay attention as this training is ongoing. So thank you, everybody. And then I'm going to leave the room and leave the floor. I'm still here for Femi to take over. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, Ms. Obi. Kindly confirm you can hear me, please.
Yes, I can hear you, Mr. Femi.
All right, thank you so much. So you said how Mr. Chinedu got me here. I must confess, it's actually easy because Mr. Chinedu, apart from being my boss, is an amazing person who I've been working with. I actually started this channel with him. A lot of people didn't know that, but I've been that IT person on the background working. So I've been a family for a while. And, it was a no-brainer when Mr. Chinedu asked me to, lead this session. So I'm glad to be here. And I would love to thank Mr. Chinedu for this opportunity to, give part of my knowledge to the family. So I'll go straight to the slide. Kindly confirm that you can see the screen.
We can see the screen. Yes, we can.
All right, thank you. So the theme for this September session of the training is making informed decision, a data-centric approach to facility management. But I would love to unveil my own topic for this training, which is from firefighter to fortune teller, become a facility management superhero using data to predict, prevent, and prosper. So straight into what we're going to have today, but before then, you already know my name is Oluwafemi Odugbesan. I'm a data professional, and of course, I do other things on the side. But before we start, before I say a little about myself, I would love to start with this music. And I would love anybody who knows this music to unmute his or her mic and tell me if they know the song. Hope you can hear the song.
No,
No.
we can't.
You can hear the song?
No.
We can't.
We can't hear the
Oh,
song.
let me check what might be wrong. So I'll have to play from my phone. I can hear it, but I don't know why it's not playing. Okay, maybe I'll need to switch to my headset for a moment.
Mm.
So can you hear it now?
No, we can't.
There is a sign that something is playing, but we can't hear it.
Oh, okay. Let me just play from my phone.
Okay.
Because the song is actually important for the message I'm trying to pass. Sorry for the delay.
Okay.
Can you hear it?
No.
No, we can't.
Sorry about that. Just a moment.
Okay, while we are waiting for the song to play, I think we have other people that joined. I can see Kainde. Hi, Kainde. I can see Adiola. I can see.
Yeah, I guess you can hear it now.
Hello, good evening.
No, we can't hear the song. Oh.
Hi, Kainde. Good evening. I can see Ainde. I can see Lead FM. Oh, how? Welcome, Lead FM. They are
Can you
here
hear
in
it
our
now?
midst. I can see Olokoba. I can see Obafemi. Hi, Obafemi.
Can you hear the song now?
Okay. No. Okay, maybe you should just start.
No, sir, we can't
I'll listen
hear
to the
it.
music later.
Oh, okay. Let me just start.
No, we can't
No.
hear it yet.
Okay, no problem. Let me just. So the song I was trying to play when it's titled Like Humans Do. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen, Mr. Femi. We
All
can see
right,
your
so
screen.
I'll go ahead. I'm sorry about the song. The song I was trying to play is called Like Humans Do. It was actually a song that came with Microsoft XP, Windows XP from way back 2001. And I recalled I started learning computer just before this period. So I can assure you, you all are in good when it comes to learning today. So what I do, as mentioned earlier, I'm a data analyst. Of course, I'm a trainer and mentor. I've mentored a lot of people, several people to, learning ICT and other stuff. Of course, I'm also a very, very serious learner. I'm addicted to learning. I try to learn one thing every day, which I always encourage everyone I meet to do. Of course, I'm also a project and product manager. I've managed several projects. Miss Hobby told me to mention some of them. I don't know if I want to do that right now, but yeah, I freelance as a project manager for construction. And of course, I do several other stuff. That's why I just added that hand. So without wasting any time, I wasted time for, that music. So we'll go ahead to talk about what we're going to be learning today. Our journey today is going to be in three parts. The first part is the firefighter versus fortune teller, which is what describes why I have that topic we have today. In this part, we'll just talk about who a firefighter is and, of course, who a fortune teller is. Then we go ahead to talk about the three data powers, superpowers that will make us excel in our day-to-day activities as facility managers. And finally, we look at dashboarding and summary, how we summarize our data that we've, done so far. So without any further ado, let's discuss who the firefighter is. As you can see in this image, who will agree with me? I'd like this to be very interactive. Who will agree with me? I'd like you to unmute your mic and just describe why I am saying we as facility managers are just like firefighters. Anyone, one or two opinions why you think we are firefighters as facility managers? In 30 seconds, anyone who can help us out.
We always do reactive maintenance more of the time.
All right, thank you so much. Just like you said, reactive is actually part of what I jotted down here. So if I ask us now, how many of us put out fires this week? And if I say fire, I don't mean literal fires. I mean just receiving a call, yeah, one AC is bad in one unit, or you need to go fix one water leakage in one toilet in the facility. All of us will say, yes, we actually went through that. And this is our day-to-day thing as a firefighter. As firefighters, no firefighter can actually predict where the next fire outbreak is going to be. So they're just in the office sitting and waiting for that call that will tell them you need to put out so fire. And that's how we work as facility managers these days. And I say unfortunately because you understand what I mean by unfortunately when we go further. So as facility managers, we are reactive, always putting out fire. And being reactive, is it a good thing? If I may ask, any other person who can answer. And I would love to know why you think being reactive is actually a good thing.
Yeah, being reactive is good, but it is not the way to go at the time. We need to be proactive and also have a preventive plan in place as well to be a good facility manager. Thank you.
Perfect answer. Thank you very much. So while being reactive is a good thing, it actually tells, as you can see from the picture of this firefighter now, he's down with headache all the time because he's being called in the middle of the night to put out fire and any other time. And that's what being reactive means. We are just, jumping to the next call. And sometimes it's very, it tells on us, like you're in your house in the middle of the night and it calls you and you receive a call to come and put out some fires in the facility, which need to be done at 3 a.m. You're leaving your wife and children, your husband, children, and you're going to put out fire. And, it tells on you, it tells on your family and all of that. So also, you're always stressed because while you're reactive, now you're very stressed because of the mode of work you use. And the next thing is that you always have arguing about budget nightmare. I don't need to explain this. As facility managers, we know what we go through every day when it comes to budget, and being reactive is actually a part of it. And of course, there is no time for strategic planning. You don't plan projects. You don't have that time because you're always reacting to emergencies. But what if I tell you, you can actually be a fortune teller as a data analyst? How do you become a fortune teller? You can actually tell the next, AC that is going to go bad in the facility before it even happens. You can tell how to save on energy cost or what is actually eating up your energy saving and all of that. And in the process, this makes you proactive. And of course, you're always relaxed because you're not in a hurry to fix any emergencies. Yes, those emergencies will come once in a while, but you would have beaten it down to about 90% of, solution, and you have just 10% to go, and that makes you relaxed always. And of course, your budget is well planned when you know what you're planning for in advance. And finally, your budget is easy to justify and you can justify your needs. So I know the question we're asking now, joining this meeting is data of any importance to me as a facility manager? Now we'll look at this example. I would love to share an example, and I would love like 2 people or 3 people actually to comment on this. If you have like 10 bulbs across your facility, and you have 2 popular brands that you're always buying, brand A and brand B, and then brand A costs 500 naira and brand B costs 1000 naira, which one will you buy? I need opinion for 3 people and why you're buying that brand you're buying. Brand A costs 500 naira and brand B costs 1000 naira. Which one will you buy?
Yeah, my name is Olaiwaju. I will say the response to this question is that I would like to go for the brand that is lesser in cost, in as much what they're going to deliver, if it's going to be on the same level, quality, then every other person will want to go for something that is saving a cost, provided the delivery is the same thing as per quality. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other opinion? Thank you, Mr. Olanrewaju. Any other person with a different opinion? I'd love to hear from 2 more people before we go on, please. Okay, maybe I'll call name. Engineer Van, can you give us your opinion, please? All right, since no one is willing to, I really hope we're going to make this as interactive as possible, but since no one is willing to talk, let's just go ahead. Thank you, Mr.
Hello, good
Olanrewaju,
evening.
for your, okay, go ahead, please.
Yeah, yeah.
Go ahead, please. All right, so let me go ahead. So while engineer Mr. Olanrewaju is right, that it will go for the cheaper brand, although they are both in the same category, both the same lumen when it comes to brightness. Yes, Engineer Van, we actually heard you for a moment then. Go ahead, please, if you can still hear me.
Okay, Mr. Femi, I think Mr. Van said he was trying to answer your question. I think he's asking if we can hear him.
Yes, I actually heard him for a second. So let me go ahead. As I was saying, as right as Mr. Olanrewaju is, I would say he spoke as a firefighter, and this is why. Do you know there is actually, despite us having the same brand, similar brands, and both of them being the same lumen, brightness, and all of that, there is actually another hidden information that I did not unveil before, but let me unveil it now, and you see why buying the 500 naira home is not advisable. So if I buy the 500 naira home from record, that is the record I've kept as a data analyst, I discovered the brand A that costs 500 naira works for only 2 months. So I have to change it. I have to replace bi-monthly. And of course, the brand B works for the entire year. So you're still wondering, how does that change anything? But let's look at the next slide now. If I'm buying brand A for 500 naira, remember we're replacing 10 in the facility, and we have to replace 6 for the year, because bi-monthly, of course, it means once every 2 months, which is 6 times for the year. We have a total of 30,000 naira that will be spent on bulb for that year, for that 10 spaces. But if you're buying brand B, while it looked expensive, because of the data we collected, the historical data that told us we actually use one for every year, that means we're just going to be buying for that 10 spaces for the year, which is 10,000 naira. This simply means we'll be saving a whole 20,000 naira at the end of the year for just bulb. So think about all the other things you do in your facility. If for just bulb you've saved this amount, you're not talking about other MEPs, plumbing and all of that. And you can see how much data, because of that data you collected and you analyzed and you checked out, that told you, despite 1,000 and looking double of the price of the cheaper one, at the end of the day, you're saving 20,000 naira for every 30,000 naira you spend on that brand A. So this is why data is actually important. But as facility managers, unfortunately, we work as firefighters, and we're just working like Mr. Olarewaju described. We're just thinking about that cheap. Okay, thank you, Mr. Van. I just saw your response now. Thank you for your contribution. So, as I was saying, we actually will think it's cheaper, but because of data actually showed us that it is actually wiser at the end of the year to spend that 1,000 naira on the bulb, because at the end of the day, we're going to be buying less, which will last longer and save us cost. And of course, as facility managers, we know budget is one of the most important things in what we do. So moving on, I said emotions versus data. Why we use emotions as firefighters to work? That's our approach. It looks cheaper when we look at things as, we need it right now, and we need to get it now, over the data that we've collected in the past, the historical data that is telling us, actually, while this looks cheaper, this is actually going to be the cheapest option on the long run, which will save us costs and help with our budgeting. So fast forward to our first superpower. Like I said, we have 3 superpowers that we'll be looking at tonight that will help us as data-driven facility managers. So superpower 1 is record. The foundation of everything. It's the foundation to everything we're going to be doing as facility managers who want to be data-centric. So if you think about that work order you've done this past week, how did you keep your record? Did you just say, I fixed a leaky faucet and that's it? Or you just said, AC broken? That's how you kept your record, like after fixing your work order, AC broken? Or did you keep other information like the unit that was fixed, what was replaced in it, the cost of that fixing, and the root cause? If I ask again, I know a lot of us will say we just, sometimes we don't even take the record. We just fix on the go and forget about it. We allow our technicians carry out the operations without being with them, and they tell us it's fixed and we are good to go. And I want to say, one of this, the sample 1, record sample 1 is actually a wrong method of keeping data. And we'll see why very soon. So if you look at this now, this is a practical example. We have AC broken. As you can see, the word itself is vague. So if I'm coming back, or let's say I'm leaving that site and I'm handing over to another person, and that person is looking at September 2025 record, AC was fixed. And what happened? AC broken. Yes, we know it was broken, but what broke? The other part is telling you the root cause. It was caused by a dirty condenser coil that wasn't fixed on time. And other information, the amount is, we fixed it, even the name of the technician who did it and all of that. So as you can see here, this is a practical example of an asset register I designed. Mr. Chinedu will be sharing this later. If you have any need for it, I know a lot of us now actually use ERP systems to keep record of all these things, but it's always good to have a manual template which we use for our work. So I always advise facility managers, even if, because there are sometimes our clients actually give us their own templates. Even if you have a template from a client that you follow, you should have your own templates with records you need to keep, because sometimes, unfortunately, this clients don't capture all the records that are actually important and needed. And when I say important, you will see why it is important soon. So the question now is, yes, we've talked about data capturing and all of that. So what's data? I know the question we are asking now as facility managers is, what data should I capture? And like I said, yeah, capture it all. Don't be that person who pre-filters data that are important or not. Let it be the work of a professional data analyst. A data analyst can tell these are what will be useful for me to work with, and I might not need to carry out analysis on this. But you as a facility manager, don't be too stressed about the kind of data you need to capture. They are very important. And me working for several years as a facility, as a data analyst, I can tell you no data is actually useless. So like I said, yeah, capture it all. Let's move on to super power 2, analyze phase. So we've captured the data now. What do we do with it? The next thing to do is to analyze. And if you're talking about analysis, like I said, yeah, the most powerful analytic tool is not the software you use to analyze data. A lot of people believe what makes a data analyst, and that's the mistake a lot of even professional data analysts make these days. They believe what makes them is the tool. No, what makes you a data analyst, a data detective, like the word I used there, is curiosity. You have to be curious. You don't stop asking questions, and your questions don't have to be complex. They have to start with simple questions like, how many bulbs do we use monthly? How much ppms do we do, and what are the tools we carry out those ppms on? And of course, which parts do we replace whenever we do our replacements in our ppms? Those kind of things are the things you need to ask whenever you're asking questions. So your goal is not to crunch numbers, but to uncover the stories they are telling. That's the number that the story that data you've captured, the story they are telling is what matters and not the numbers. Of course, as hard as it may sound, I have actually, like I said, this 3 superpowers, I actually copied them out of 6, which we data analysts uses. But I think as facility managers, these three will actually, work for us, do everything we need. And if we're analyzing now, there are 4 steps we need to consider for every analysis we're going to do. The first step is to ask that detective question. The second step is to ask, which data are we to analyze? The third step, of course, is to uncover stories, those stories we are uncovering from the detective questions we're asking. And finally, we don't just let it go like that. We have to take actions. So let's look at 3 cases that are like examples of the detective questions we can ask and how we uncover the stories and the actions we take. The first case is the case of that never-ending repairs. Now, why are we always fixing the same thing over and over again? That's the detective question we're asking in this case. Why are we always fixing the same thing? We fixed it last month. We fixed it 2 months ago. Why is it reoccurring again this month? And what are we looking at? Our work order history. Yes, we have our work order form that technicians fills each time. And sometimes we allow it end there as facility managers. We just pile up our work order. But what I will advise people to do is to have a template. You can have it in something like Excel. I will share, like I mentioned earlier, I will share some templates that Mr. Chinedu will be sharing with the family later on that I designed for, making our work easier. You can actually modify it, make it better, and modify it to your own taste and make it, work for you. So we are looking at the work order history now, and the clue we are getting from the story we are uncovering now. Now we've asked the question. The detective question is, why are we fixing this same thing, this work over and over again? Let's say in this case, an HVAC unit that we're always fixing over and over again. What are we supposed to look at? We're looking at the work order history, the log for the work order, like I mentioned in a template in Excel, for example. Now we check the work order and we check for the asset. The asset name in this case is Air Handler Unit 4. And what we discovered was 12 corrective work order for motor bearing failure in the past 12 months. That's for the whole year, we've done the same thing over and over again, which is the motor bearing, which has always failed over and over again. Now, there is a plot twist. Now, the plot twist is that we cross-check that log with our preventive maintenance PPM log, and we discovered that this same motor bearing that is always, getting bad is being lubricated every time we do that PPM, and which is what we're supposed to do all the time. And yet it still goes bad every other month, and we have to replace over and over again. Then the mystery we solved from cross-checking our PPM over the work log is that we discovered that the PPM actually has a bad bearing altogether. And the real story is that either of three things. The first thing is probably PM tax isn't being performed correctly. Was our preventive maintenance done correctly? Do we just take record and we don't do it correctly? That's the first question we're asking. The second one is the frequency. Is it low or high? Or finally, are we using the long lubricant each time we lubricate it? Then we take this action, which is revising our PM procedure, retaining the technician that is carrying out this PPM every time, because sometimes we are fond of like replacing technicians and the new person does not know what the first person did previously, end up doing something wrong, and of course damages the stuff we're trying to fix. And finally, the lubricants we are using, if it's not good for that particular product, let's change it and try something else. And of course, our outcome of trying all of this is that the repetitive failure stops. Why? Because we've used data to uncover a story and it shows us what might be going wrong. Instead of trying, the way mechanics in a place like Nigeria, I don't know every other part of the world, but in Nigeria, I know we still have some mechanics who work by trial and error until they get it. While other mechanics actually have, tools that they can use to check what exactly is wrong. And our own tool as facility manager right now is actually data. The second case is the case of that energy drain that we faced. So the question now is, why did our energy bill spike up last month? We've always spent an average of 100 to 110,000 monthly on energy bills. And we discovered last month we spent a whooping sum of 500,000 naira on energy bill. And we're asking, what actually went wrong last month? The data we're analyzing in this case now, for example, is the utility bill. You see why it's very important to capture everything. I know a lot of people just buy utility for the facility and we store our receipts, but we actually don't have a log. You're supposed to have like an Excel log where you input the amount of units you bought, the day you bought it, the day it got exhausted. Those kind of information are supposed to be captured. They are part of the information you're supposed to capture as facility managers. So of course, we're looking at the data we are utilizing right now is our utility bill log, and of course, our BMS log. So what are the things we uncovered when we checked these two documents? First of all, our clue was that we analyzed our data for the last 12 months, and we saw that significant spike in the last month, which is, let's say, June in this case. And what we discovered was that the BMS data, because we checked the BMS log and we cross-checked with our utility bill, the BMS data now is now pointing us to the west wing of the facility that are not shutting down on weekends as scheduled. Now, the plus twist here, you check the work order system and find a ticket from late May, updated BMS software in West Wing Controller. What we've discovered now is that they updated the BMS software, and unfortunately, the update does not work with HVAC, which has been programmed to work from Monday to Friday between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. every Monday to Friday. And while every one of them shut down by 5 p.m. on Friday, we've left the office and everybody left, and the West Wing AC continued working all through the weekend. And we discovered, oh, this is what went wrong. Our AC on the West Wing was working, and what caused it was because a BMS software update was done, which did not capture the shut on, shut off timing anymore. And this is corrected, and immediately we start saving energy costs. So this is another way data analysis can actually help us save costs in our facilities. And of course, finally, the third case here is how can we prove that we need. Sorry, is someone trying to say something? Hello? Can I go on, please? Is anyone trying to talk? Okay, so let's go on. Kindly confirm you can still hear me though.
We can hear you, sir.
No, Mr. Femi,
All
you
right,
can
Yes, we can hear
continue,
you,
sir.
sir.
All right,
Yes,
thank you.
continue.
So the third case now is we need to prove to management that we need a larger budget for the next year. This is a nightmare for every facility manager. You all agree with me, because of course our management don't want to hear anything like larger budgets we spend, because they're always looking for how to make us spend less every other year. So it will be difficult to say I need my budget for the previous year was 15 million naira and now I need 30 million naira for the next year. But actually, we can actually use data to justify needing more budget and getting it from our management. And this is how. This third example is talking about how we can ask for a larger budget next year and how we'll back it up using data. So which data are we to analyze in this case now? We are analyzing asset register and labor parts. And what story did we uncover? The clue, first of all, is that we have a passenger elevator in our facility. And this elevator, we have 3 of them, 1, 2, 3, and they were all installed in 1998. And this is 2025. And we still use those elevators in 2025. And unfortunately, we discover, after calculating the cost of ownership and everything, we discover we are actually spending 7 million naira to maintain this. We are actually spending 7 million naira to maintain this the elevators every other year. And we discovered the cost of buying one is actually the cost. It will take to maintain them for 3 years. So it will be very bad to say we should continue to maintain when they can pay themselves off in 3 years. So if you can show management why we need to buy new ones rather than, and how it's going to save us cost on the long run, like I said, just like we checked that example of buying bulbs for 1,500 naira. If you can prove that buying, because as we know, buying bulb for 500 naira will always be the option for even the management. But if you can prove that going for the more expensive option, like buying in this case, the passenger elevator, will actually be paid off for the money we use in maintaining in the next 3 years, then of course you would have proven your point that it's better to buy the new one rather than keep maintaining, which will keep costing, and it's even a risk for the users. So in summary, these are the 3 phases we looked at, and like we said, we have 4 steps that we'll use in analyzing data. The first step is we ask that detective question, why? The question is always why or how. The next thing we do is look at the data we are going to be working on. The next option is now, what story did we uncover? And finally, you take an action, because if you don't take an action based on what you've analyzed, then you've not done anything, or everything you've done so far has been a waste if you're not taking action. Reporting it to somebody, changing the steps, what you uncovered while doing that, then you've not done anything. So don't forget, anytime we are in an analysis phase, the first phase is data recording. Keep record of everything you've done. And when I say keep record, I don't mean keeping it in form of documents and all of that. I mean having logs. The 1st of January, we did so thing. 2nd of January, and you're having different logs for different aspects. Your asset register has its own log. You have for PPM, you have for the financials, every other thing we do. I'll be sharing the documents on the kind of data as facility managers that will be important to use, to have and work with. So, and finally, the next superhero is to share. Yes, we've kept our record, and from our record, we turned it into an analysis. We carried out analysis, found out stuff about it. But if we don't share, if the data collected is just an Excel sheet or whatever platform you collected that thing is, and it is useless if you're not sharing it. You need to share it with somebody. You discovered something about the AC going bad over and over again, and you need to replace it instead of fixing it over and over again. You need to share with the account department. The energy saving information and initiative you've discovered, you're sharing with the sustainability department. Your HR needs to know the energy use so that they know how to communicate with everybody in that building, the facility users, on how to, manage energy consumption. So you need to give your findings out to people. And the result of doing this is that you now not become, because by default, we facility managers are seen, and I'm sorry for using we facility manager, me claiming to be a facility manager. Actually, I actually am not certified as a facility manager, but I've done a lot of stuff as facility manager. So I can gladly say I am a facility manager. So bear with me while I say we facility managers. So as I was saying, we facility managers are actually seen as cost-centered people. We are always the one requesting for that fund, always over and over again. And from sharing our information, sharing our data, all of the things we've uncovered from our data and how it helps the business in the general sense, we are now seen by management and every other member as strategic business partners. We are thinking about saving costs while giving our best as facility managers and officers. So the next thing we look at now is, I'm trying to be as fast as possible because the slide is actually a little bit, but we are coming to the end of it. Bear with me, please. And please keep your questions, jot down your questions. We will have the parts we ask our questions and observations. So if you look at these two images now, it's one image with two figures. So the one on the left is our Excel sheets, and you will all agree with me, this is what our Excel sheet looks like most days as facility managers. You're always scrolling to the right as if it's endless, scrolling and scrolling to look for one information. Do you know you can actually build something visual that can tell you the information you need to know on the go? For example, what is the amount of units we've gotten for our electricity bill for the year? Let's say in this case, 41.09 kilowatt hour has been consumed, and we've purchased so amounts, we have so amounts left. You know, those kind of information we can actually see on the go. And of course, when you're discussing with the management or stakeholder or whoever you're discussing, whatever findings you've discovered, you're showing them a summary. They are not interested in seeing you scroll over and over again endlessly to show them one information. They want to see it in a dashboard, which is a reason why all facility managers, after this dashboard now is now in a sharing phase, which is why you need to share your information. And when you're sharing it, you're sharing precise information in a very summary form and a visual information that I can easily relate with. So the problem we're trying to solve
It's
with
still
our
don't just listen.
visualization, the problem we're trying to solve with our visualization here is the problem of interactivity. We want something, we want to show something, because like I mentioned, the problem is the spreadsheet is something that is endless. You can't keep scrolling. You want to show your clients why they need to replace something, and you're scrolling on one log you've been keeping for 5 years. They are not interested in that. You're just going to be wasting their time. So what you want to show them is that actionable document, a visual actionable document that is interactive. You can actually show them numbers, show them in form of chat, and they understand, and everything is good. So I want to show us three dashboard samples. I copied them online, and I want us to observe them and give us observations. I would like to hear from at least 2 people. This is the first dashboard. Let's look at it for like 20 seconds. If there's anything we see that is wrong or good there, let's observe it and tell us. It's beautiful, it's bad, it's not good. Anything, any observation we make. This is the first one. Yeah, let's go to the next dashboard. This is the next dashboard. Let's look at it, and for another 20 seconds, let's try and digest it and see what we think is good or not. So the final dashboard, this is it. Let's observe it again and see which one would we prefer to use. As if you're creating a dashboard as a facility manager, which one do you think is more precise to use, more visual, and whatever you want to do, whatever you want to call it? Let me go back again and show it again. So this is the observation 1. If there's anything we observed, let us know. Observation 2. And finally, observation 3. So let's go ahead. Any observations from 2 people? I know we have facility managers here who are also data analysts. So let me hear from you.
I can see Umar. Umar raised his hand. Umar, go ahead. Unmute yourself.
Go ahead,
and
please.
answer.
Mr. Umar, go ahead, please.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Yes, sir. Well, sir, thank you for well-educated and informative lecture. My own observations on this is the third one, which is more presentable and more analysis for easily understanding for the plans or the issue that we are discussing or we are making analysis or the more presentable.
Okay, thank you. Is there anything wrong with the first one? Can you look at it? Can you tell
First
me
one,
one or two things wrong with it?
first one is too the data is too much. The analysis is but it's too cloudy.
Okay.
But the same thing,
How about the second one?
the same thing, the second one. The second one. The
All
third
right.
one is more present for analysis.
All right. Thank
So,
you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Umar. Engineer Van, go ahead, please.
Thank you. I also go with the third one. The third one is more clear because the
All right.
visuals on the first and the second are not clear. Looking at it, you will not be able to understand it at a glance. And in making your dashboard, it should be clear enough for you to take a maximum of, let's say, 1 minute to understand the story you're trying to tell. So looking at the first and the second, like these sales by state or province, if you look at it, for instance, you'll not even be able to understand what it's trying to say. So the third one
All
is the
right.
best.
All right. Thank you so much, Engineer Van. I would say two of you are actually data inclined. You actually saw the points. So the points we're trying to make here is
Femi,
data.
too.
Hello, I have
Sorry.
an input. Can I go ahead?
All right. Go ahead, sir.
I think the difference is that board three is interactive with slicers and it's an interactive dashboard whereby you could find information of any region by clicking on it. It has an interactive back end, right? That's what I'm just trying to say. Why the one and two, they're kind of composed with graphs and charts, and they're not interactive. I think that's the major difference. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Anayo. So if you look at dashboard 2, it's also as slicers. You can slice from the left upper part, but that's not really the reason why they are bad. The two slides 1 and 2 are bad. So let me start from slide 1. Like Mr. Umar said, we can't pick out any information from this. It looks beautiful, but it's just everywhere. The purpose of dashboarding is to give insight that a layman can look at and say, your chairman, your CEO, whoever you report to, does not need to know the technicality of how you got it. But when he or she looks at it, they are saying, oh, we spent also amounts already for the year. Those are the kind of points they want to get. But if you look at the dashboard one, it has no, even when they're trying to use gauge, they used it wrongly. The pie chart was wrongly used. Everything on it was wrongly used. If you look at dashboard 2, if you look at the pie chart, I don't want to go further. Like I mentioned at the beginning, this is like an introduction to data analysis that we are still going to be looking at from time to time as a community. But this is just trying to explain to us why we need to, be data inclined. But as a data analyst, you can tell that the pie chart that we have on dashboard 2 is not given. As a data analyst, you will be advised as a professional data analyst. If you see a professional data analyst design a dashboard, most times they don't even use pie charts or what's it called, donut charts. They are the same thing because they they will tell you to avoid them as much as you can. But when you're using it, if you need to use it, let it be for for comparing 2 or 3, maximum 6. But when you're even having that 6, don't even use pie chart. That's the advice you get. 2 or 3 information you want to compare. Let's say north, south, east, and west, 4 regions. You can use your pie chart, donut chart. In this case, everything we have here, the map is not used well. Everything is not used well. Despite them looking like a beautiful dashboard, they look presentable. They are not passing information. That's the point of dashboard 1 or 2. And like you both rightly commented, dashboard 3 gives you the information. So the CEO is looking at this sales dashboard now and telling you, for Great Accra, we spent a total of, we sold a total of $4.3 million. And which one made the least sale? The Upper West of $0.8 million. You can easily tell those information. That's what a dashboard is supposed to do for you. If your dashboard is not doing that, don't be bothered about beautifying your dashboard. All you should care about is the information you're passing with your dashboard. That's, you're in the sharing phase now, and you're sharing with a dashboard. You don't want to bore the people you're giving this information to with too much information, and you just want to show them what they are interested in seeing: the sales, the repairs, PPM, and all of that. And they see reasons why they need to, work on the budget and make it favor you. On, in this case now, data is helping you become a superhero, in the sense that you are now a business partner. You're discussing it more than, because unfortunately what a lot of facility managers do these days is discuss facility problems with their management. But when they see you know what you do as a data analyst, as a data-centric facility manager, they now involve you in even planning the budget, which should be your part of your JD anyways. As a facility manager, you want to be involved in the budget planning to be able to know how to carry out your duties. And the only way they can involve you is by you convincing them. And how do you convince them? You convince them with facts and figures, and not just we fix this. You can be the best facility manager. Your facility can be as clean as ever. But if you don't give outputs in the sense of what data you've been able to uncover as a data-centric facility manager, you might not sit and dine with those people at the top. And that's the fact, because if you don't give them the reason why you're saving for the company, as well as you are doing so amazing as a facility manager, then you might never dine with them. They might never see a reason. But when they see that you give them facts and figure from your facility, you see how fast you grow and start to eat with them. So in summary, the purpose of dashboarding, the information you're sharing, is to give insights. You're giving your KPI, maintenance, backlog, the reactive work done, the mean time you use. Those are the things you're giving as KPI. KPI are those things that anyone who looks at your dashboard just immediately, those numbers that are just there giving you insights, first-hand insights immediately as soon as they log into your dashboard. For financial, you're giving your KPIs, the cost of maintenance per square feet, the cost of asset type, and all of that. For asset health, you're giving the downtime you've had with your assets, this in your PM compliance, all those kind of information. Those are the things they want to see in your KPI. Straight, direct information, and not, nobody cares about how beautiful your dashboard is. I tell a lot of people, whenever we compete as data analysts, whenever we participate in all these community competitions, we design dashboards and all of that. We are making it as beautiful as possible. They are so interactive and all of that. But I tell you, as a facility manager with many years of experience, I've never designed any of that dashboard professionally. As a facility manager, I've not done any beautiful dashboard that is switching, and yes, I can do them. Yes, I've done them for competitions, but do you need it for when you need to pass out information? No. So don't be carried away by, I know that actually affects a lot of us when it comes to building dashboards. We see other people's dashboard and we believe they are better than us. The truth is 90% of dashboards, even designed by data analysts in Nigeria right now, I've checked a lot of them on LinkedIn and other platforms. They don't pass out any messages. They just look beautiful, as we can see from the dashboard 1 and 2. So you don't need to worry about beautifying your dashboard. Use your pie chart, use your bar chart, use your gauge, any chart you need to use, and make sure you don't clog your this thing up. You might build different ones for. What I mean build different now is for your asset register, you're building a dashboard of just 4 information with your KPI. You can have like 5 KPI, 4 KPI, and 4 visuals. So you can have a bar chart to tell you one thing about the asset register. Your bar chart is telling you an information. You have a gauge, you have a column chart, and you have just 4 or 5 of it, and you're good to go. Like one of our contributors mentioned when he contributed with the about the dashboards 1 and 2. You don't want to give too much on the dashboard and make it you just miss the message you're trying to pass. So instead of that, you have your asset register have its own dashboard, your PPM its own dashboard, your financials for the year its own dashboard, and you can just present one of them, each of them at a time. So that's a better way to go about that instead of carrying out having like 12. I've seen a dashboard of like 12 visuals on one dashboard, and I'm like, oh, you've missed it. So in summary, we want to have the right report for the right audience. So this part is important. Please take note of this part. When you're giving your dashboard, do you know that particular form you fill, that your technicians fill whenever they carry out a work order, is actually a dashboard? Who agrees with me? The form your technician fills, because it's actually giving you an insight on one information, on one work order carried out. So you're seeing the name of that person who carried it out. You're seeing the work that was carried out, what device was fixed, which of the assets was fixed, and all of that. That's actually a dashboard on its own because it's printed on a piece of paper which they filled. It's a dashboard. A dashboard is any visual that gives you an information on the go. So now you have your information on your piece of paper that your technicians and supervisors fill on a daily basis. Now, when they submit this to you, this is what you compile into a log, and you have a log of work orders. But when you're dealing with your technician and supervisors, that piece of paper is good to go. That's the dashboard you're sharing now. Like we're still discussing, we're talking about sharing. Your goal is that your work is executed and you captured what was executed. It is now left for you as the facility manager to go and input that log into that sheet you have in your house. Now, when it becomes a sheet, it is no longer a dashboard anymore. The next thing you have now is you're having a tactical meeting, either weekly, monthly, bi-weekly, or anyhow you do it. I think the maximum this interval is always monthly with your fellow facility managers. And you're talking about your work for the month. Yes, you share dashboards, you share your worksheets. That's your communication. Remember, the first one is with your technicians. You have a piece of paper that registers the logs for whatever they did for that day. Now you've inputted them in your dashboard. You can share your dashboard with, I said dashboard, your worksheet, your Excel worksheet with your fellow technicians. You're discussing, because as facility managers, you are now discussing the in-depth. Sometimes you even carry out the analysis together. So you're doing all of that together. And of course, when it gets to the leadership, you're talking about the finance and all of that. You want to have a summary dashboard like the one I showed, the third one we talked about before. Your goal is, like I mentioned, they are not interested in seeing all the things you've discussed with your facility manager colleague. They want to see the KPIs, the goals, how much we've spent for the month, how much, what was the percentage compared to the total costs we actually proposed to spend for the year. Our budget stays 100K. How much have we spent? What was the percentage? As at that point, the data was captured and analyzed, and of course, turned into a visual. So, dashboarding in summary. A great FM dashboard isn't defined by how much charts, as we mentioned earlier. It's not defined by the colors. Neither is it defined by the widgets and every other thing we have contained in there. If your dashboard looks too busy, forget it, you've missed the point. You don't want to give your dashboard, and at the end of the day, it does not state any clear facts. So as facility managers, our dashboard should always be powerful and have the ability to turn work order, asset register, energy usage, costs, and everything into actionable insights. And when it becomes actionable insights, we can pick up the points we need to pick from it and act based on whatever we discovered. So in summary, data is not about work. It's not about extra work. You're not giving yourself, because the way a lot of us will see it now is it's extra work. I'm capturing, don't forget our three superpowers. Can somebody mention it for me? Our three superpowers that we've discussed so far. In 10 seconds, can somebody just mention our three superpowers? Is Miss Chipo on this call? Can anyone mention the three superpowers we've discussed so far? Miss Kehinde, can you help us out?
Okay, let me say it.
All right, thank
Record
you,
data
thank you.
and take action.
Recording, yes.
Analyzing of data.
Analyzing of data. And
taking.
I didn't hear that last part, please.
And taking of action on the analyzed data, as in taking the appropriate action.
So the action is actually under share. The third superpower is share. You have to share that information you've discovered when you analyzed your data. So the action comes with sharing. The action might not be your own, might not be your jurisdiction sometimes. If it's above what you can handle, yeah, but you can't give them information. When you share the information, there is no way they will not act on what you've given to them. So yeah, that's why action is there. But our three superpowers as data analysts that I want to be our take home tonight is, first of all, we need to capture data. And what kind of data do we capture? Capture everything. Don't leave anything out. Don't look at it as this might not be important. Every data, I can tell you as a data analyst, is important, very important. Secondly, we analyze that data now. We put it in our Excel sheets and ask questions based on, we will still go there. I will still be training us how to use Excel to carry out simple analysis as data as facility managers. We won't need to go deep into data analysis, but those things that will be, beneficial to us as as facility managers, we will definitely be learning in no time. And finally, we share whatever we uncovered, because if you get those information, you've discovered why something is going bad every month and you're not sharing it with the right authority, then you have not done anything. You have not done anything. So finally, in summary, data isn't about extra work. It's about working smarter. It transforms you from someone who just reacts, remember, as a firefighter, which is we all are as facility managers by default. You can actually become a firefighter, a fortune teller who prevents those problems before it happens. Before an AC break, because of the PPM record you've kept, you know that this AC is actually approaching its end life. And when it gets to that period, we have to maintain every month. Why not tell them to replace it instead of us wasting the amount we're going to be wasting every month on it? It is data that has just given you that information as a fortune teller. So before a fire outbreak happens in your AC, I've witnessed several. I worked with one of the biggest facility management company in Nigeria for a year and a half. So I witnessed everything that happened with, we working as firefighters. They are just calling you and telling you this has broken down, this is getting bad and all of that. It is because we don't keep record of all those things we've done. And whenever we even keep some record, not all records, some records, we don't analyze them. I'll give an example. As I mentioned earlier, I worked with a company and we had this amazing ERP software. For those of us who don't know what ERP software is, it's actually an enterprise resource planning software that encompasses everything you do in your company. So as a facility management company now, our ERP covered if you want to request for requisition, if you want to carry out any work order, the stock keeping and all of that, we have everything on that software. But guess what? Most of us facility managers will not use the software to keep record of work orders. Then I discussed, because I worked as the ICT person, I planned and designed the software with the software developer that was hired in the company before I joined them. So I redesigned the software to only allow you make requisition for payments only after you've raised the work order for that work you're trying to do. Guess what our people did? They started creating the work order. Or do they go back to close it? Do they give any other information after they've been paid for it? No, they don't. But at the end of the day, we don't know the importance of doing all these things, which we've discussed in this session so far this evening. We can't overemphasize how important it is to keep these records. It is very, very important because you want to be a fortune teller and not a firefighter. So I ended this particular summary with this word. It should be 19,720 and not about 20,000. Let me explain what I mean by this. While working as a data analyst, I worked with the federal government of Nigeria on a project, a very big project that helped unemployed Nigerian youth to give them like temporary jobs. And I worked on data of millions of Nigerians. And the exist man I worked with, he was the number one. This was under while President Buhari was still in power. God rest it so. And every time we go for our meetings with him every Monday, and you tell him as a data analyst, and you mention, he asks you how many people registered this week, and you tell him about 20,000. You're looking for his trouble. He sees you as somebody who does not know what he's doing. He wants you to be precise. Hope you guys can still hear me.
Yes. Yes.
All right. So he wants you to be precise and say 19,720 people registered between Monday and Friday. If you tell him about, and that was what I learned as a data analyst, to always give precise number. That makes you, he gives you that confidence. It makes you more confident to say you know what you're doing. As a facility manager, we've replaced 22 bulbs this month and not about 22. Whenever you use that word about, it sounds as if you don't know what you did or what you're doing, and it does not make you that confident facility manager. So let's make it a habit to always know the precise numbers. That is also a hint about how we become a fortune teller. So recall I was supposed to play a song in the beginning, but unfortunately, I don't know why it did not sound. I could hear it in my headset. I don't know why it did not sound, but I can share a link to the song. As I mentioned earlier, the song came with the Microsoft XP software in 2011. 2001, sorry. When I think about how far that is, I feel I'm getting a little bit old because I've been using. I started training Microsoft Office 2. The first time I got paid training Microsoft Office 2 was in 2003. I used to go to my mom's office we had then to teach directors. There were two directors who were interested in learning for promotion and all of that. And I was teaching them. I remember teaching them Windows 98, Windows XP, and of course, Microsoft Office, Microsoft Word 1998. Because what we have now wasn't what we had then. Now we have Microsoft Office Suite, where you have everything inside, but then it used to be individual softwares. Microsoft Word on its own, Excel on its own, which you buy separately. So back to the song. Unfortunately, we can't hear the song, but this time around, I want us to look at the lyrics together. So the lyrics says, for millions of years, in millions of homes, a man loved a woman and a child was born. That child learned how to hurt and he learned how to cry like humans do. I'm breathing in and breathing out. So sleep in this funky house. The dishes in the sink, the TV's in the repair. Don't look at the floor, probably because the floor is messy. Don't go up the stairs. The stairs even worse. I'm aching and I'm shaking and I'm breaking like humans do. That is what we are by default as facility managers. We are always reactive, fixing this, fixing that. As we are fixing this, we are fixing another thing is coming up, and we are always breaking and shaking. That was why I added this music for us to see that even a song sang as far back 2001 described us as facility managers perfectly. The TV is repaired, the dish is in the sink, you're fixing this, the floor is scattered, everything is like this. Go and fix this, go and fix that. And that is what we have always been as facility managers. But what if we can become that person who relaxes and sleep with both eyes closed because our facility is running on automated analysis? Do you think it's difficult? No, it's not. It's not difficult to do. It starts from you keeping the record of everything you've done, and of course, analyzing those records. And of course, don't keep those information you've discovered to yourself. Share them. Thank you all so much. Right now, we take question and answers if you have any. About 5 minutes for question and answers.
Okay, thank you. Can anyone hear me? Mr. Femi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, thank you for the session. Thank you. I think one of my own takeaway is that you say that information that we collate or we gather should not remain with us. It must be communicated to the appropriate stakeholder or line manager or department. That is what I gathered from all what you have said. And then the superpowers in data capturing. You said capture, analyze, and share. Capture,
Yes.
analyze, and share. So facility managers, whatever you are getting, whatever you are tracking, you must communicate. You must communicate. If not, you are not going to get a seat on the suite. C-suite. Yes, they call it C-suite.
Yes.
You are not going to be called when they mention people that are giving strategic insights. As you are capturing, you are analyzing, and you must communicate. And another thing Mr. Femi said is capture all, everything, write it down somewhere. It is important, it is needed. The simplified dashboard, fine, but there are some persons or there are some units that when you are communicating with, they might need you to go back to the main source of your information. So that is why Mr. Femi said, capture all. If you work with the technical team and they ask you, how did you get to this? You might go and pull out information that you have in your log. So thank you, Mr. Femi. It is time for questions. I think we have spent over an hour, 30 minutes. So it is time for questions and answers so that we can close for the day. Do we have questions? Let me call people out. Abayomi, Engineer Van, do we have questions? Mr. Chinedu, do we have questions? Mr. Amos, ESV or Motor Care, do you have a question? And I would also like to hear from Lead FM. If someone or anybody that joined the Lead FM would like to hear from you, you can go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
Go ahead, Mr. Chinedu.
Okay. Let's take others. I think there's another person that was trying to talk. Can we hear him talk? Because me too is question I want to ask. Can we hear somebody? Okay, Engineer Van, can you go ahead?
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Good evening. Thank you for the wonderful insight. So the question I want to ask is now for us as FM, looking at data analytics, we have a lot of softwares and a lot of applications to use, even in capturing data and in analyzing. So, but sir, which one do you suggest for a beginner like us? Maybe some of us who probably don't have have not had a good foundation about data analytics. Should it be which one do you suggest between Excel or the SQL?
Oh, all right. Thank you for that question. If you ask me, the same thing I'll tell as a professional data analyst who has worked for several years analyzing very important big data, I can assure you on a normal day, 90% of the time, I use, despite knowing how to use Python, Excel, and all of that, Python, SQL, and the rest, I use Excel. We don't do, unfortunately, in Nigeria, we don't make use of, we don't have so much data that Excel cannot carry. And Excel is way easier than every other thing, because if you talk about SQL now, I wouldn't advise you to even go there because you don't even see what you're doing. You're writing codes, it's giving you an answer, and you have to trust whatever you've written. You understand? But for Excel, as I mentioned earlier, with the help of Mr. Chinedu and Ms. Obi, I'll also be coming back to teach us how to use these tools. Excel will be taught by me, Microsoft Word, even how to do our presentations. We can do captivating presentations. We can make use of Excel as facility managers. I don't want to go too deep. As data analysts, it might be too difficult for you. But as facility managers, yeah, there are things you can actually do in this analyze phase that Excel will do for you. Everything you need to do as a facility manager. Even the dashboard, I'll show you how to design a dashboard that will look like Power BI or Tableau, but it will be done on Excel. I will teach you all of that with time. So in summary, Excel is what I will advise you to put your eye on for capturing the data, for analyzing the data, and for presenting the data for now. Let's stick to Excel. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Femi. Mr. Chinedu, can we have your own question?
Yeah, what I was actually trying to ask is, looking at the what's it called, the data capturing, looking at the dashboard, and of course, you agree with me from experience that data, most of the times, why most of us run away from it is because of, the time it takes, for you to sit down, begin to put all those figures together, and also compared to other works that we're doing. So are there ways that this can be made easier so that facility managers can see it as something that will not be time consuming, as if something that will not distract them from the core operational work. So how can that be done so that this data capturing will not be seen as something that is tedious, rather something that you have told us that it will ease our work, but what do we do? How do we get software or something that we can use now so that we can be able to do that effectively and efficiently? Thank you.
All right, thank you for that question, Mr. Chinedu. So if I may ask you, would you prefer if, like, I totally understand your question. So because sometimes it might be difficult work to enter into each column of your Excel sheet that you have for, let's say, for example, your work order, will it be easier if you had something that looked like a form and you're filling the information? The form is saying ABC and you're entering it into the form and it's appearing on your worksheet. Would that be okay? Would that be easier, if I may ask?
I think so, so that it will take you go to this thing, begin to plot the chart and all those things on it. I think that will be better and
Okay,
easier,
so
right? Not yeah.
yeah, there you cannot escape the plotting actually, sir. So it will actually be easier to create a form. And like I said, I'm going to be available with the community all through, giving, designing templates and sharing stuff. I can help design. If anyone on this group need that help to design something that will make their job easier, just reach out to me. And I'll be willing to help out. I can help you design something that you just enter information on your worksheets and it appears on the table instead of having that difficulty locating which place you want to enter it. I can automate something for you. And yeah, as a data analyst, we do automation too. I remember I used to work at this same project I worked on. There was a file I needed to send out. I always need to send out on Tuesdays to a guy in NIBS, Nigerian Interbanking System. I was the one who liaised with them directly, and there was a form I needed to download from the website, then download, analyze, feedback the information, then send to that person. And I automated it. If I was supposed to do that every Tuesday, it would take me at least take 30 minutes to 1 hour of my day. And I automated it, and all I needed to do was click start, and it does everything for me in seconds, and I just copy and send. So yes, we can actually help out to automate some of this stuff. Hope that answered your question, Mr. Chinedu.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Femi. Do we have another question?
Yes, there is one.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Oluwafemi, for the training. I really appreciate it. But I noticed your charts. It was not really directed to FM related budgets or probably FM related data. So I would have loved if you have used FM related data to run this dashboard, because often at times I find it challenging trying to, create such, revealing the KPIs needed, in FM facility management. For example, showing the percentage of energy consumption, for power, our power, I would love to show it in such a way that, like I was mentioning before, interactive. When they click for May. They see everything from May, both the costing, budgeting, energy consumption, incident reports and everything like that, including fleet, because I manage fleet too. So you go to February too, you can see. So your data is detailed. You understand? You can have a dashboard that can show you from January to February, to January to December of a year, and you can compare that. So I really wish your data was FM inclined, not sales or finance. So I really wish it was. So that's why I have an issue. Because if you have done that, I would have seen, okay, where I need to correct myself, where I need to do better, or where I need to adjust. But these are normal, common, simple, basic example they use in displaying dashboard, finance, sales. I wanted something more different and technical relating to FM regarding this. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Anayo. So, if I may explain that, this is actually an introduction, as mentioned earlier, to tell us why we need to embrace data. These particular 3 dashboards were picked online on purpose. Even if I try to design a bad dashboard, I don't think I can. At a point you get so good at something that you don't know how to even fake being bad at it. So I had to pick those dashboards online, not to tell us what we need to do as facility managers while designing, not to tell us which KPIs we need to look at as facility managers, but to tell us what not to do and what to do. So those dashboards were actually examples of general dashboarding and what we need to know how to do and what not to do, and not necessarily for us to, for FM. But however, as I mentioned earlier, I'm a part of this community. I will be added to that group and I will be posting from time to time how we can become better FMs with data. So I will definitely share these things you've raised are part of what we will be learning whenever I come to facilitate the next time. So it is a gradual process, like I said. So trust me, we will get there. We are not there yet. What we showed right now is how to build a dashboard and not how to, and not necessarily for FM. So we will get to FM and what to capture and what not to capture. All right, sir.
All right. Thank you very much. It seems I'm already advanced. No verse. Thank you very
You're
much. We
welcome.
look forward to the next class. Thank you.
Definitely. You're welcome.
Okay,
And
thank
sorry,
you, Mr.
you can
Nayo.
actually reach out to me if you need any help. My number will be in the group as soon as I'm added.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. I
You're
appreciate it.
welcome.
Thank you.
You're
Okay.
welcome.
Okay. Do we have another question? Okay, Mr. Chinedu.
So
Mr. Chinedu, I think I'm going to.
if we don't have any
hand over.
question, let me just round up before we end. So the question now is what next? We've learned the introduction and we've learned how to keep record and all of that. What is next? The good news is, as mentioned earlier, I am in-house. If you reach out to Mr. Chinedu, you've gotten to me. And what are the things we'll be learning? We'll be learning how to use Microsoft tools to become better FM. Sometimes we've done this analysis and all of that, and we're called to present it. PowerPoint is also as important. You need to become somebody who can present without any fear. We're going to learn how to use Excel and Word. And of course, I'll teach how to use AI to become better FMs. While I was with my last work, I used AI a lot, but you cannot tell I used AI because I know how to use it. Unfortunately, a lot of us as facility managers use AI the wrong way. I will definitely be teaching about that. And of course, I will be teaching on any technological tools that will help us become better FMs. Remember, the theme you should have now is work smarter and not harder. You should learn to work harder, work smarter and not harder. Become that facility manager who predicts before it even happens. Thank you so much. Mr. Chinedu, over to you, sir.
Thank you, everyone. Femi, thank you. I really want to appreciate your time. I really want to appreciate the time that you have put, to enlighten us tonight on the essence of data. Thank you is not a time wasted at all. And thank you for all that you have been doing. Like you said, many people will not know, but you have actually done a lot for this group. You've been at the back end, you've been supporting us a lot. I want to say thank you very much. One thing I've also learned from even putting this group together is that, immediately you have a vision. God will definitely provide people that that will back up that vision, that will give you the necessary support. Thank you for the support. Thank you, everyone that has joined. I want to believe it was not a time wasted at all. And like you said, he's part of the group. We can easily reach into whatever we need. Like I don't know who was, is it Gina Payne or who that was actually talking about advanced part of it. So most of us are not there yet. So that's why it was actually necessary for us to start from these spaces. So for those that actually gone ahead, you can reach out to Femi so that he can be able to speak to you at that level, so that most of us will not be lost if we begin to talk at the advanced level. And like I said, he's going to be here, in time to come. And this is something that, we have designed to happen monthly, so that we can be able to, touch, different areas that has to do with the FM and how, we can actually get better, because that's the essence. We need to get better in what we do. We need to improve our skills. We need to, wherever we find ourselves in our workplaces, we need to actually show that, yes, we're adding values, we have become persons and people of facility managers of excellence. So thank you very much, everyone. We'll be looking forward to next month. I don't want to give us, the tips of what we should be looking at, but that will be happening on the platform. But I want to balance it. I want to bring somebody, hopefully by God's grace, somebody that will be speaking to us, from HR background, at least for the sake of those that are looking for a job. I want to bring somebody that will be able to tell us what to do, when it comes to interviews, and how to land to the job that we intend to, or how to, effectively have a change, if we want to make a change in our current job. So as I round up, thank you. Obi, thank you for always anchoring it effectively and very well. Thank you, everyone that has joined. I really appreciate each and every one of us. Thank you, and wishing us a wonderful. And okay, we're almost coming to the end of the month. Thank you, and we pray that God will take us even to see the end of the month and the year as well. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Hope you can wrap up now. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. I've actually wrapped up already. So
Thank
thank
you.
you, everybody, and see you all next month. Thank you.
Thank you,
And then the
everyone, for the
slides, you are
time.
going to share it on the platform as
Yes,
well.
I will share the slide, but I need to make you all know that you can only enjoy the slide when it's in presentation mode, because of the way I designed it to be interactive.
Okay.
So before you use the slide, make
Thank
sure
you.
it's in presentation mode.
Thank you very much. Thank
Obi,
you.
can you
Thank you
take
Thank
this
very
hand
you.
up? There's somebody's hand that is up. I don't know whether it's by mistake or so he wants to say something. Okay. Oluwashegi.
Yes. You can go ahead,
Mr.
Oluwashegun.
Shogun, you can go ahead.
No, I just want to appreciate our facilitator, Mr. Chinedu. Is a mistake. Thank you so
Okay.
much. It was very interesting. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shogun.
Thank you, Sasha. Thank you,
All
and
right.
bye,
Good night,
everybody.
everyone. Good night.
Yeah, good
Good
night.